Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your boy Santana Thomas, and if you guys have never been here, make sure you like and subscribe for more future content. And this right here is my cool dope ass guest,
Logan. Just call me Logan.
Not Logan Paul, not Logan from Riverine, just call him Logan. But we're gonna get straight to the video, and it's gonna be about women having a few questions. I think it was 22 questions for feminist women, but let's get to it.
If you are a liberal and a vegan, duet this. Question 1. Did you know no one gives a
I've seen so many girls on Tinder and dating apps have in their bio 6 feet and above, like I only date over 6 feet. But imagine if guys had in their bio C cup and up. Like, just imagine, any guy who put that would be so canceled. And then you all want to talk about internalized misogyny and, oh, society makes women feel like they have to look a certain way. If you want to talk about double standards, there's a double standard for you. In fact, I think the height thing is a little bit more offensive because you can change your bra size, but you can't really change your height.
She's definitely got a point on that. Like, because I don't know, man, because we live in that kind of like a really double standard society in a way when it comes to like genders. Like, I feel like women are more like...
Women generally have like a higher standard for men than in comparison to guys having a higher standard for women. Now, of course, you can't find guys who have like really high standards for women, but you're going to find a lot more women who have like very high standards for guys.
Explain that real quick for me.
Well, you need to find... Usually, standards women have is a guy with a job. Not only just a job, but a good job that pays well and has like a lot of benefits to it. Usually has their life pretty well put together, and not just well put together, mostly together, so that way they can easily slot in.
Right.
And usually have a lot of skills with them too. Now that you're never gonna find a guy at like 20 to like even 30 who has like all those things.
Well, are we referring to majority of women, or are we just referring to like a low number of women statistically speaking? Because like I don't think like all women like have like that mentality to where they will like automatically go after a guy with like all those.
I think you ask a woman to describe the best guy, like usually a single lady, the best guy, they would describe that.
They would describe that.
Yeah.
I could see that, but like it bothers me because at the same time, do those type of women deserve those type of men? Because you know what kind of women are we talking about here? Are we talking about women who are actually, you know, that's for instance a traditional type of woman and not modernized? You know how traditional women were back in the day. They really did have good qualities. They knew how to treat a man. They knew how to play their role. You know what I'm saying? I feel like most women nowadays, they kind of just...
Well, you got remember back in the day, it was a lot worse than it is nowadays.
Are we talking about like before, like are we talking about earning the 50s, or are we talking
I'm talking about like 60s and 50s. If you want to like point to like a sweet spot you're talking about, like about like from 2010 and to like the 90s is your sweet spot.
That was the sweet spot?
Yeah. Because you didn't have like all that craziness.
Okay. But I think it's gotten worse though. Like I get what you're saying. I think like a lot of women didn't have rights back then because, you know,
well, they didn't have the right to vote.
They didn't have the right to vote.
Well, actually no, they did have the right to vote. They just never expressed it as much.
Yeah.
Not only just that, women didn't have job requirements, would actually discriminate against women. Like quite literally, anyways, oh, you just be my secretary.
Right.
You can't be my editor.
Well,
not only just that, if I remember correctly, if a woman would get beaten, they could not, no one would take them seriously. Like they would just go into this, oh, he wasn't actually like beating you that hard or stuff like that, or it would end up it was a very much of a boys club mentality.
Yeah, that was way before my time. I think that's fucked.
That stuff
standards right there.
Yeah, and that stuff all got cleared out like during like the 70s, during the 60s and 70s afterwards.
Right.
And then I say like the sweet spot was like If you want to like a concession, I would say probably not in the 2010s, probably just from the 90s and the 80s is your sweet spot. Then.
Right. Okay. Let's get back to the video real quick.
I just watched a video where a girl said she's never seen a pretty Trump supporter, and if you're offended by that, then you're ugly. All right. So I know beauty is subjective, and someone might find me attractive and other people might find me to be looking like a dude, and that's okay. Again, if you're liberal, then me looking like a dude should be like a positive thing, because you guys are all in support of that. But let's take a look at what liberals find attractive, shall we? Armpit hair. I can smell it from here. Sexy. So attractive.
Wow. Okay.
Facial hair. Yes, I like, the lipstick really brings out the chin hair. It's a good compliment. Body positivity. Yes, where we reject anything that's health and fitness. It's hot. Pure sex.
That was what I was trying to mention earlier and stuff like that with the big women, the whole positivity, body positivity movement.
Well, the body positivity movement has good intentions, but it also is pretty much shit. Like, well, am I allowed to curse?
No, you can curse, bro.
I'll
probably edit it out and post. I'm not for sure. Depends on
just
how I
put
feel.
a bleep on
Bleep,
my mouth.
bleep.
Just put a bleep on my mouth every 10 minutes.
But like the whole like body positivity movement, I think that like it does more harm than good. Okay, for one,
We have
advertising obesity shouldn't be a thing, for the simple fact that it comes with a lot of health factors that people should actually take serious. I mean, we are the number one freaking country in the whole world that has full of overly weight people, and and I think that like it'll get even worse if we're continuing just gonna turn this into something good and make it seem like it's okay, that it's okay to be big, because at the end of the day your children are going to be viewing this and they're going to be influenced by this type of movement, and it's going to affect them in a negative way, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what type of parents that they have.
I have like a lot of family members that are like that have obesity, and a problem not just obesity. Well, diabetes, which is usually caused by obesity, and a lot of them suffer through that. And I think it is a problem to actually literally show I don't think it's a problem showing it. I think it's a problem trying to tell people
that it's okay to be that way.
Love it, okay it. Hey,
right, because
if they're big, you shouldn't try pushing to be more healthy.
What I feel like was really going on is that instead of trying to improve your like physical healthiness and your physical physique, people try to like come up with these excuses to make themselves feel better about being that way, so that way they don't have to put in the hard work, because it does take hard work to try to keep yourself in shape.
It takes some
because not even working out, it's just the food that you have to consume,
diet, exercise. And also sometimes that doesn't even work. Like you could be eating really healthy and your body just naturally gains weight.
Yeah, and I understand that a lot of women suffer from like what do they call that condition?
It's not just
I think it's called hemorrhoids. It's something that causes women. It makes it more complicated for women to lose weight.
I do know that women naturally retain more body fat than men do, mainly because of pregnancy reasons.
Right. Well, I mean, we're talking about
not during pregnancy, just even outside pregnancy. Right. It's just because like evolution.
Right. Yeah. Because evolution is a bitch.
Well,
but I'm not trying to like sit there and put down women for being big and stuff like that, because I like some decent women who are like you
can find
slim, thick or something like that. But like I don't like them like sloppy big or like
the fat folds.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to say fat, but yeah, I guess we could say fat folds. It is what it is. But we're gonna get back into the video.
Just be honest.
Feminism today is complete and utter bullshit. All you're trying to do is dominate men. You don't want equality, you want domination, and that's not okay. The reason I speak on men's rights and the reason y'all get pissed off about it, here's the thing. Women are more represented. We have more sources, more resources that we can latch onto than men do. there's more shelters for women than men who go through domestic violence. Women are completely believed when they accuse somebody of sexual assault. And being a sexual assault victim, I understand that, but men go through this too. And we can't belittle their f***ing trauma because we think they should be able to handle it.
There's actually a famous YouTuber who actually went through that kind of stuff.
Right.
Matt Santorum. He does a lot of top 10s. He dated this girl who actually did abuse him and all that. At least he says that. I don't know whether it's true or not.
She probably drugged him because I think that's how
she didn't drug him. She was just like really controlling over him, and that is a form of abuse.
Right, form of abuse because she can basically manipulate him to do certain things.
Well, when you're a guy, if you're a guy and you're in love, to be quite honest, you do let your mind go a little sloppy.
Yeah, like I think like after a while it'll like kind of cause an effect.
It will cause fights.
Yeah,
100%. But some guys are more passive, like they don't want to. Because they realize, well, I'm need to be polite. I need to be nice. I cannot beat a girl. Even if she's hitting me, I cannot hit her back.
No, so here's the thing with me though, like I don't care about that whole like nice guy thing because I know from experience that being a nice guy only gets you bad results. If you allow women to come into your life and take advantage of you, then that's what she's going to do. And then she's going to do it to the point to where she's going to shape you into the guy that she wants to be, and then after she realizes that is not what she wants, she just spits you out because you're not being a man that you want to be.
You need
a balance.
A balance. It is having dignity.
Okay, so like dignity. I think there is a difference between being nice and kind.
There is actually. Well, I don't think there's really a difference between being nice and kind. I think there's a difference between being very passive and allowing people to basically shape you wherever you want and being setting boundaries. So I will only go this far. If you push me beyond that, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna mess with you.
Like, well, in my opinion, like from experience of like seeing people being like nice people, I always see them coming from a manipulative perspective. Because like, I don't necessarily know anybody. If I've even done this myself, trying to be nice to people because, I know that if I do that, it will, lower their guard down enough for me to like come in and get what I need out of them and then expose them. Man. And that's the reason why a lot of women are not attracted to nice guys, because a lot of women know that nice guys are manipulative. I mean, like, literally look this shit up. A lot of nice guys, the reason why a lot of women are not attracted to a nice guy is because a nice guy is manipulative. And women have seen this through experience. They've seen them.
I do not know anything about that.
Yeah, it gets deep, bro. Like, this is that red pill shit. But, yeah, it's crazy, man. But we're going to get back to the video because
I usually just follow politeness and courtesy. That's always been my motto.
I'm not a nice dude.
While the left attacks masculinity, labeling it toxic, my 7-year-old son actually coached my daughter yesterday, saying that she drew her man in her image too skinny. He said men are supposed to be strong and hairy. He gets it, why can't they?
Okay. I definitely have to address that.
What?
I don't think what makes a man masculine is based off his physical appearance. Like, it does play a good part, right? Like,
there is biological differences between the sexes, but also it's not when we're describing men, it is mostly in terms of like traits and personality, usually personality traits, but there is some physical traits you can describe.
Right. Yeah.
But masculinity is mostly just personality traits.
Right, and because there's a like when it comes to man, I believe that like you don't, like you for example, you're a very like skinny guy, you're lean with it, you barely have hair everywhere. At least that's where I can not see at, but like but that doesn't necessarily determine if you're masculine or not, because like you said, it's more of a personality trait, and this also has a lot to do with your resources. And because that's what women are attracted to. They are also attracted to resources. Well,
most people are, but women, yeah.
Like and not saying like gold digging way, because you obviously can tell when you're fucking engaging with a gold digger, because you know that's all they're gonna come after you for. But you know, women want to make sure that you know them and their offspring is financially taken care of.
It's just all evolutionary.
It's all evolutionary. It's all part of me.
Subconscious.
But yeah, let's get back into the video.
Birthing people. Are you gonna call men people fertilizers?
What's that?
Just wondering.
She did.
I don't even know.
Oh.
Inconsistent liberalism. Men and women should be treated equally.
Oh my God! It ain't
But
even
the future is
liberalism. It's not even liberalism.
But gender is just a social construct.
It's just
but
wokeness.
no uterus says. But she's moved too fast for me.
It's called wokeness, not liberalism. Liberalism is entirely different.
So in the news this week, transgender weightlifter Laurel Hubbard is going to be competing on the women's team for New Zealand in the Tokyo Olympics.
It's a biological
Meaning now
male.
that a bunch of biological female weightlifters are going to be competing against a biological male. Hope you all are listening, because this is effectively the end of women's sports. And to the feminists out there, why break a glass ceiling when a biological man can do it for you?
Yeah.
So it's a biological male who is competing in of women's sports. Okay.
I mean, like, still though,
that's
like,
stupid.
Yeah. I don't like saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I feel like transgender people should have their own like.
Everyone agrees with this, like,
because
the only people who disagree with that idea are literally crazy people.
Yeah, because it would make perfect sense, because then everybody would have a chance to be, competing with each other equally. Because when you're sticking a man in a ring, in a fighting ring with a female, he's more than likely gonna dominate her.
Yeah, we don't see the exact opposite happening, which is usually female to man transitioners competing in men's sports and dominated. We actually see the opposite.
Yeah, we also see the opposite, right?
Which is that
Quite
they're getting crushed.
Yeah,
like, they're getting crushed.
Because I think they know that even with even if for instance, if she was born a female, transitioning over to a male, even if she wanted to get into sports, she probably know that she wouldn't be able to compete with those people, because those are just born men. Testosterone levels are a lot higher, and all these
massively higher.
Yeah, massively higher. I think you was mentioning that earlier, that they don't really necessarily do a checkup when it comes to testosterone levels.
In the women's sports, which was I forget what the transgender swimmer that recently cropped into the news. They do not actually check testosterone levels, nor do they actually do checkups on the transition, like whether they are taking the pills or not.
Wow,
they do
crazy.
None of that in the women's swim league.
Police in Virginia Beach are trying to make sense of a shooting that left 2 people dead and 8 people hospitalized. So someone replied this: Trumpster most likely in white male like always. Because you hear gun and you think Trump supporter in white. Where are the feminists? Females can do anything males can do. Why do you always assume it's a male? How dare you assume their gender? How dare you assume their race? And it would be a safe bet that they got those guns by nefarious means, but us legal gun owners are going to be the ones that are punished. And then look, lo and behold, the suspects in the Virginia Beach mass shooting are finally identified. They look all male to me, but they're definitely not white. Do you see why we call it brainwashing what the media has done? You hear gun and you think white male. Just like the Colorado shooter that completely disappeared from the news when they confirmed that it actually wasn't a white male and disrupted their narrative.
All right, we're not gonna watch that.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, we need some talking here.
Ban her.
Ban her.
So I think that, first of all, if somebody commits a sexual assault, the only person to blame is the person who commits the sexual assault, right? That right off the bat.
I said hello.
Victims are not to blame for their own sexual assault.
Ben Shapiro. This is what Logan Paul, or Logan, I called you Logan Paul. I meant to say Logan should be the next Ben Shapiro.
I like Ben Shapiro, but he's got weird
stuff. If I walk through a high crime neighborhood waving $100 bills above my head and then I am robbed,
he makes a good point. He's making a good point, but it's also kind of a moot point.
But I also made a bad decision to do that.
Okay, so two things can be true at once. And it is not blaming the victim to say that it's a bad decision to walk through a high crime neighborhood at night waving your wallet over your head.
Yeah.
Right? It is also not a good idea to go to parties where drinking and drugs are commonplace with a bunch of guys who are pigs.
Yes.
Right? That's just not a good idea. Now, does that relieve responsibility from the guys? 100% not. If a guy rapes you or sexually assaults you, he should be castrated or killed.
Castrated. No forgiveness.
Man.
I believe in forgiveness. Again, I was raised in a.
I don't like these ones.
Again, I may be an atheist, but I like Christianity, so I like forgiveness.
Why is girl support until she wants to be a wife?
I want my trash.
We are not going to watch these videos. If you're not talking, then nope, you're not talking either. So we're going to skip right past you.
The abortion one.
I think I'm going to start editing these videos.
Oh yeah, if that's the case, if you don't like guns, don't.
The pro-choicers fell right into my trap for this one. I wasn't comparing getting an abortion to owning a gun. I was comparing the legality of both questions. How many times have I heard pro-choicers say, oh, well, if you don't like abortions, don't get one. It doesn't affect you. Yeah, well, if I get a gun, that's not going to affect you at all. Oh, well, guns kill people. Nah, people kill people. Abortion is a question of morality. Let me tell you this, an abortion's only purpose is to harm someone because it is considered a failed abortion if the life isn't taken in the procedure.
Awesome.
That's why the argument, oh, it doesn't affect you, doesn't apply because it affects and harms someone else. The issue that I have with abortion is not that it affects me personally, but affects someone else and takes away someone's opportunity at life. But this video and the comment section just goes to show how contradictory being pro-choice is. Because if we're going to start using the argument, oh, if you don't like it, don't worry about it, don't get it. Okay, well then if I don't like a mask, I'm not going to wear a mask. You see? Who draws a line at the value of human life? Because I, for a fact, don't want the pro-choicers doing it.
Okay.
Actually, we do have value over human life in the military.
Right, in the military.
Yeah, which is, I think, like $20,000.
Right. Maybe I just like misinterpreted what I was like listening to, but I just felt like, how did pro rights have anything to do with Second Amendment?
I told you it's whataboutism. It is 100% whataboutism. Now I understand it does come from a area probably good intentions, like most people. Well, everyone does everything because they think they're doing good intentions. Most people do.
Right. Well, I believe in Second Amendment.
Everyone believes in the Second Amendment.
Now, I don't think everybody does, because if that was the case, then why are there a lot of people who are trying to ban the Second Amendment or try to
crazy people don't believe this?
Yeah.
And people who have never experienced actually shooting a gun, and people who probably, when they think like, I
think some of it has a lot to do with trauma too, because like a lot of people have experienced gun violence, worst possible ways. There's people out here who witnessed their parents get shot to death, or somebody close to them getting murdered. You know what I'm saying? I think that can cause them to want to ban, guns.
Well, yeah.
From people,
There was, oh my God, there was a disgusting thing where there was this kid who basically was being propped up by anti-gun lobbies, who was part of a mass shooting. Well, he wasn't even part of the mass shooting. He wasn't there. He just went to the school where the mass shooting took place. He wasn't even in the mass shooting that happened. And so they propped him up because he started advocating against anti-guns. And they said, "Oh, our kids are dying," and they showed this kid who wasn't in the school where the mass shooting was going on. I can't remember what it was, but that happened, and that was. Oh my God, that was so stupid. It's just so stupid. Like, it's just pointless. There was also a study done where like they show like a pink gun, or I forget, it was some kind of color of a gun, like a AK, or I can't remember what it was. And they showed it in two different colors, one black and one that was brightly colored.
One looked less violent than the other.
Yes, and one they wanted this. Oh, we should ban that gun, but keep that gun.
That's retarded. Is that really a study?
I think there was an actual study. Now I don't know whether that was a advocacy study or a study that actually has merit to it, because there is studies that are just advocacy based,
right, and have no backup behind it. We're not about to watch you.
Too many words.
They were mostly young men.
We're not gonna watch that neither.
Thank you for fighting for our country, but please go to sleep, Grandpa.
Okay, that's over with. And that was kind of intense, for the simple fact that you don't really hear women speak upon like certain things that men agree on when it comes to like men rights. You know, because nowadays it's just mostly about feminism. You know, and
well, we do have a growing MRA, men's rights activist movement going on, but it's very quiet. You don't hear about it too much.
Right. Well, I just feel like, you know, like more men should come out and, you know, have like discussions like this, for a simple fact that I feel like, you know, we don't necessarily express ourselves enough these days. You know, so we kind of do ball our emotions and our opinions about certain things. And I think a lot of it had to do with the simple fact that we don't necessarily want to deal with the backlash that we would get from, you know, certain political.
You don't have to ball your emotions. What you gotta do is control your emotions.
Yeah. No. Well, what I'm saying is, I'm saying like I'm speaking like from like a reality type perspective, because most men, what are they going to do with their emotions? They're going to ball it out.
Well, what you got to do is teach boys how to express themselves.
I know there is an alternative. Like, you know, I was going to get there with the whole, you know, instead of trying to ball your emotions up, you should try to figure out how to channel that, but do it in a positive way.
Positively. Yeah,
and don't like, you know, try to release it like in anger or frustration, because when you do that, that's just going to cause more issues for you in the long run. You know, you're gonna cause more trouble for you more than you would cause for anybody else in the world. So, but I feel like, you know, more men should actually like get together and, you know, express certain topics.
I think more people should all get together.
Yeah, more people, but everyone. Like what I'm saying, where I'm coming from is from a man's perspective, because, you know, we hear about feminism all the time, and like honestly, I hear every day.
We hear the current version of feminism.
Yeah,
not even feminism. We hear about wokeism all the time.
Yeah, about wokeism, and like honestly,
feminism has been subsumed by other ideologies into being incorporated into it. Like you get like now the current fight, which is between modern feminists and what derogatorily called TERFs.
Right,
which have been fighting each other now for the
and
last.
Honestly, like the feminism movement now is not the same how it was in the beginning.
Oh no, like this is like, what is it, like third or fourth wave feminism we've been dealing with. I think this is like fourth wave feminism, which is like has went off the rails, because women have been liberated. They have been freed from the bindings of basically societal norm, from early societal norms, and have now been adjusted into male societal norms, which frankly it depends. You can either view it as a positive or negative depending on what side of the aisle you're on. But modern feminism has now turned into basically not only just being freed from early societal norms, into freeing from society's responsibility as a whole.
Right.
They're trying to.
I just don't like the idea, like how, like, you know, when it comes to like feminism and like the things that they have to say that are bad about men, and it's like, you know, everything that, you know, a man does is bad. Like everything that happens in this society here in the United States, it's all because of men. It's like there's no accountability that is held against women.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, you know, well, I don't have a job right now. I'm homeless, you know, or my manager, he doesn't, you know, pay me enough. Let's just blame on men. You know, saying men are responsible for that. And like we were talking about earlier, you know, saying the reason why the minimum wage gap doesn't exist because of.
It doesn't exist because basically women make different life choices from men, and it takes away from its. Those studies like literally leave out so much details in them. Like, one, women are generally more agreeable than men. Two, they leave out different life choices. Usually, women prefer to go into more more like helping people fields, like nursing and all that stuff. And many of those fields don't have like way for promotional things.
Right.
And they are less able to negotiate. If you're more agreeable, you're less able to negotiate.
And that's something that Jordan Peterson was talking about too. So like I was watching one where I can't remember her name, but she was like a female journalist. I think she was British.
Kathy
and like
Newman.
and that's one thing I like about Jordan Peterson is because like he doesn't let people step all over him. Like
Jordan Peterson will stop someone, will let someone finish
Yeah.
when he's in an interview,
Yeah.
and then he'll give you back a response, but it's usually always very thoughtful. He always thinks through it.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing too when it comes to like a debate is to not like try to overtalk somebody or try to make it seem like you're right. Because I think that like his tactic or the reason why he allows somebody to speak and before he interrupts them is that way he can have time to think about what he's gonna say next to them or
he
about
listens.
that stuff. Yeah,
he listens and then gives back a response. Like I can't remember, there was where Jordan Peterson literally let this one woman speak, and then what happened was she might did well. I bet you can't. Like she basically said, I bet you can't predict what I'm gonna say next. He literally predicts what she was gonna say next, and then she was you could literally see the gears in her head going fuck.
Damn, he caught on to me.
Damn. And then she might just no, I wasn't gonna actually say that. I was gonna say something else, Mr. Peterson. I was gonna say
try to make it seem like she was gonna say something else the whole time, but really he just said exactly what she was thinking.
Oh yeah.
Well, that'll be it for this video. Hope you guys like this reaction. And if you guys have any more suggestions about any videos that you want me to do, make sure you comment below and let me know. And I might have this guy back as a guest because he's very good at what he knows about certain things. And that's what I like because I like, knowledge, so I like to learn things. And he's definitely one of the guys that will, teach you some shit.
I'm just a homeless man on the streets.
A homeless man on the streets.
I would now go back to picking the dumpsters.
It's always the homeless man on the streets.
I would now go back to picking out the dumpsters. You all have a fantastic day.
Deuces. He said, I'm the homeless man on the street.